Welcome to Cat in the Hat, the movie that ruined childhoods, confused parents, and made Mike Myers question his career. This isn't just a movie, it's a full-blown 82-minute panic attack. So let's dive into the most unhinged children's film ever made. We begin in Anville, USA, where everything is color-coded and every adult is dead behind their eyes. And there we begin with a mom, who works for some Pinterest-style real estate company, and she gets a phone call, in which the babysitter tells her she has to go. After that, we meet her boss, the most meticulous adult being I have ever seen. He announces a meeting and fires this guy on the spot because he just shook his hand. He even has his own portable hand sanitizer. This movie reminds you of something that happened almost 5 years ago. Oh man, that was 5 years ago. Damn, I'm old. Well, he tells us that the mom is gonna be the host of tonight's bi-monthly meet and greet party or something like that. And she has to make it perfect, as the last time it wasn't very good, as she otherwise gets fired. She goes home to her kids, even though Mr. Humberboob is not fine with that. We get a quick overlook of the city and all the houses look the same, which is just awful. I can't stand the idea of not knowing where you live. We are 5 minutes into the movie and all I gathered so far is that everything in this movie wants me to get from it is that they're all perfectionists. So we get to the house that just looks like every other house in this whole city, and there we meet Conrad, a child who clearly needs therapy, and Sally already runs a LinkedIn account at age 8. The girl seems to be like fully involved in the style of living, and she has to plan everything, even things that just don't make any sense. Well, this dude is just a homie, as he does these crazy challenges just for himself, and doesn't listen to girls whatsoever. But sadly, this stunt gets interrupted by his mom. She just so happened to come into the house the moment he was rushing down the stairs. The mom is dating the most punchable man in cinematic history, Larry, or Lawrence Quinn. They hate each other, but well, Larry hates Conrad more because boys will be boys, and he's trying to send him to military school, because nothing says good parenting like outsourcing your kids to discipline camp. Well, he comes over just to bring their dog back, who just ran away. Meanwhile, the house looks like a gumball machine exploded into a model home. Nothing feels real, and it only gets worse from here. The mom is trying to prepare the house for the upcoming party, and Larry is trying his best to convince her to send her son away into military camp. Well, Lawrence is just an asshole. As soon as Joan needs help, he has to go. On his way out, he tells Conrad that he doesn't like him and he's gotta marry his mom. Well, Mr. Humberboob calls again and tells the mom that she has to get back to work immediately. So she calls an old lady that has apparently babysitted them before. On her way out, she has an argument with her son, in which she told her that he wished for a different mom, and she told him she wished for a different son. One that can behave and she can trust. I don't know this movie, but since it's a kids movie, and I know the Grinch and the Horton movie, I think everything is gonna be alright. The mom leaves and Larry just goes back into his house instead of going to his important meeting he told her he has. The babysitter falls asleep and the two kids just stare out the window for a few hours, on their color-coded chairs in front of the window. Well, after it got too boring and mom is at work, and Larry is off being the worst, the kids hear a loud bang from upstairs. And they find a 6-foot-tall fursuit with the voice of a Canadian man having a breakdown. Well, we meet the Cat in the Hat, played by Mike Myers, and I have to assume under duress. Nobody in their right mind would have played that role voluntarily. The kids run from the cat, but it follows them down the stairs into the storage room, and it somehow was faster than them. So far they have been screaming the whole time. Like, it's been now a minute of almost constant screaming and the babysitter hasn't woken up. Well, they run up the stairs into the bedroom and the cat is there too. They get up and somehow the cat is behind them. Seems perfectly normal to me.
That's my mom.
I just don't know what just happened. And they say this is a kids movie. Sure, they've put in a lot of adult jokes. I see. And the kids, they just go along with it, because of course they do. He, or better it, puts the babysitter into the closet while she was hanging from a hanger. Somehow I'm glad I didn't watch this as a child, but I think I'm even more disturbed now watching it as an adult. I just can't. He measures them with some kind of movie science device to see how fun they are. And she is a control freak, and he is a rule breaker, so that has to mean only logical cure for that is a song. Yeah, that's right, that cat is gonna sing now. While he sings, somehow the fish can also now talk and warns them about the cat. And like, how does someone even come up with any of this nonsense? How can you be so high on crack or whatever Dr. Seuss smoked to write that down? And the song turns into a full-blown musical. Let's just skip that. I can't even describe what's going on there. Well, after that disaster, he summons a blood contract and his lawyers. They just ensure that they will have lots and lots of fun and nothing bad will happen. Sure. He goes in the living room, puts on another costume, and then just chaos. The pillows on the couch disappear and he pulls things out from underneath there and he wrestles an elephant. Well, they all three eventually end up in the living room, jumping on the couch. Sally hesitated at first, but well, they signed the contract, so why not enjoy it? Well, Larry just so happens to come over. Why? Who knows? But he hates both children, so he doesn't care for them at all. Additionally, he takes the beer and makes himself a sandwich. As I just said, he is an ass. As fast as he came, he already left, as he is apparently allergic to cats. What a coincidence. The cat proceeds to host a live-action cooking show, where he now has a British accent, and he destroys their kitchen, in a scene that's supposed to be funny, but feels like watching the taxes get audited. It can apparently also just duplicate itself multiple times, as he is now just standing right beside himself, and is in the crowd. Well, he uses his second movie science device to make cupcakes. He just puts random stuff in it, as it can make them out of anything. Well, yeah, anything.
Anything.
So the purple paste goes all over the tray, but is neat and tidy in all of those little forms in next cut. Because this is a movie-sized device, it can naturally do that. He puts it in the oven, cuts his tail, and after that the oven explodes and his purplish Artex dye paint spots appear everywhere. When Sally tells him to clean that mess up ASAP, he uses their mom's dress for tonight, so they obviously freak out. As if Mike Myers, unmedicated, wasn't enough, the cat summons his 2 demon minions, Thing 1 and Thing 2. And let me tell you, there are a lot. And they certainly look uncanny. Conrad doesn't care for them though. He cares more for that cosmic horror box the 2 came out of, as it seems to breathe. But the cat doesn't want that cosmic horror box opened or touched by any means, so that is a rule that Conrad has to follow. They show up, trash the house, destroy everything that still had dignity in this movie, and basically serve as a warning label for what happens when Red Bull is marketed to toddlers. They were supposed to clean the house, but well, that didn't work, as now everything is destroyed and full of paint. There's no logic, there are no rules, there's only destruction. Conrad though? He just ignores what the cat told him. He tries to lockpick the movie science crab lock and succeeds. It's important to mention that the crab lock attached to the collar of the dog, which just got used as a rugby ball and catapulted out of the house. They decide to go after the dog to get the lock back, because otherwise the whole world gets destroyed or something. Meanwhile, we get to see the true self of Larry. He's just a fat, lazy bastard with no job, no money, and just one bitch that doesn't know that. He calls her at work to tell her that the dog ran away. I think when he hung up the phone, she somehow sensed something was wrong with it, because he was supposed to be at that important meeting across town, so how could he call from home? Well, they follow the dog through the whole city, and eventually Larry catches it. So the cat gets out his car and they drive through the city. I mean, what I've seen in this movie, I just know what happens next. And I was right. The kids both drive the car and the cat just removes the brakes. That's road safety right there. The only thing I don't understand is that the cat said there's nothing faster than the car, but it moves pretty slow, so I don't know about that. They wreck the car and manage to get the dog from Larry. Well, in the meantime, Joan called the babysitter, which woke her up and made her get down from the cosmic horror box. That's pretty bad, because all this cosmic horror is now leaking out of the box, and that is transforming the house. The kids and the cat are racing their mom and Larry to the house, but because the things helped slow down their mom, they make it there first. They go inside and there's just chaos. The group somehow makes it to the crate, and in an unforeseen turn of events, they actually manage to close it. But they wreck the whole house in the process. The kids both finally realize that the cat is somehow not as fun as they thought, so they decide to throw him out. But then, surprise! That cosmic contract saved them. It stated that if the 2 learn their lesson, everything will be alright. So the cat returns with a giant cleaning machine and magically fixes everything. Because if this movie has a moral, it's commit federal property damage and then undo it with movie science. The cat disappears, presumably to haunt someone else's living room. The mom comes home, doesn't notice the emotional trauma, and dumps her garbage boyfriend because he is telling nonsense. The kids have learned a lesson about, I guess, chaos theory? The party is awesome, and we all move on, pretending this movie never ever happened. So, if you remember this movie being weird as a kid, don't worry, it's worse. And if you thought this movie was a glitter-coated descent into madness, just wait until next time, when Tom Hanks kidnaps children into a magical train and sings about hot chocolate like he's trying to summon Satan. Yep, that's Polar Express. Well, yeah, that wraps up that awfully long movie. Hope you enjoyed and let me know what movie you want to see in the future. Alright, that's it for now. If you like this disaster of a recap, feel free to click some buttons, or don't. I'm not your dad, so that YouTube knows that my videos are worth watching. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.